Let me know if you've heard this before. The magic that you're seeking is in the work that you're avoiding. This is a quote that has been recurringly coming up in my feed recently, and it's something that I've had to come to terms with, and it is the impetus for this little series and challenge that I'll be doing. I'm doing 33 days, posting every single day on YouTube, to create a constraint, as this video is titled, something to the effect of your constraints create your creativity. And those are the two things I want to talk about in this video. How oftentimes the magic that we're seeking is in the work that we're avoiding, and it stares at us in the face until we confront it. This idea is similar to Stephen Pressfield's The Resistance. Typically the thing that we feel most resistant towards is actually the thing that's going to take us exactly where we want to go. For myself, I have allowed for cope over the last 2 years where I would tell myself, I don't want to force myself to do anything. I'm obviously very big on intuition and following something that feels natural to yourself. But what I wasn't admitting is that it does fall contingent on me to create the container for creativity to occur. It reminds me of a conversation from a previous podcast with Winston. I asked him, he's a writer and an artist, and I was asking him how he balances the discipline aspect of forcing yourself to write versus the flowing creativity. And he brought up a quote from Bukowski's book, Women. And in that book, Bukowski says, any fool can chase skirts. It takes discipline to sit down in the writer's chair. Something to that effect. And that is still stuck with me, 2 years later, because I think it's perfectly emblematic of the creative's path, the artist's path, the entrepreneur's path, even the athlete. You can be as gifted as you want. You could be in the right vehicle, the thing that God has planned for you to be in, the universe has ordained for you to be in, your natural talents. But if you don't show up and create the space and the container for that creativity and that so-called magic to happen, you're not playing your part in the co-creation of what is going to be your life's work, whether that is just yourself or it is a physical creation. In my case, written, spoken, video, the arena that I'm publicly sharing content in. And for you, it could be whatever you're thinking of immediately that's coming to mind right now, what you've been avoiding, the magic, the work that you've been avoiding, and the magic that you've been seeking. In the creator economy in the digital world, for a lot of us, it is some form of daily posting on social media. And for a long, long time, I coped with the idea of, I want to put out quality, not quantity. I don't want to force myself to do anything. I only want to create what feels natural. But the truth is, without creating the constraint on myself that I'm showing up every single day to create something and share value, I won't be able to iterate into a place where I'm making something that I can personally deem as art or worthy of consumption. I spent a lot of time wrestling with the idea of finding my voice as a creative. And while I think that that is important, the only place that you find that voice is through iteration, not through ideation. And I've spent the last 6 months especially trapped in my head trying to figure out what my thing is, when realistically it's been staring me in the face the entire time. And even though I'm going to force myself, quote unquote, to make videos every single day for at least 33 days, that's a constraint on something that does come very naturally to me. I didn't script this video, I don't script my videos, I don't script my podcasts, and yet I can still show up and speak in a compelling manner. I get the piece of feedback a fair amount that I'm good at articulating my thoughts, or I communicate really well. And this goes into leaning into your advantage. I talk about that all the time. Leaning into what for you comes very naturally and effortlessly, but for others looks like work. And I think because it did come naturally to me, or does come naturally to me, I dismissed it or discarded it, not as valuable. But I know that these videos, based on direct feedback I've gotten from good, close friends, as well as clients and viewers as well, they provide a tremendous amount of value. So I need to lean into that more by creating this constraint so that my creativity can flow through that constraint. And likewise, forcing myself to do a little bit of uncomfortable work, that is likely where the magic is going to show up. So this series will be a minimum of these 33 videos every single day. I'm creating that as my constraint. I think I'm going to call it something to the effect of meditations or the Vitruvian meditations, because I want these videos to be about the ideas rather than myself. I'll certainly plug in anecdotal stories and speak from my perspective, but I want these to be meditations on health, wealth, wisdom, spirituality, entrepreneurship, whatever kind of comes to mind each day and feels organic to share. Comment below topics you want me to touch on. And then I think another thing that will be a cool byproduct of this will be if there are ideas that need further elaboration or get a tremendous amount of positive feedback, I can do an entire podcast on them as well. So I wanted to create some sort of happy medium between a full-length podcast and a short vertical format 1-minute video that you see all over social media. I feel like that's really not where I shine. Providing nuance, providing additional explanations is where I'm strong. So leaning into a platform that enables that via YouTube and creating these videos, whether they're going to be 5, 15, 25 minutes long, so that I can expound on these ideas. But again, the importance of this specific challenge is, as the title says, creating a constraint for your creativity. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to title it, but you've seen the title at this point, and I think that you should try to walk away from this video and come up with what that version of a constraint for yourself could be. Maybe you're on a fitness journey and you've been looking for that magical shortcut or the results that you've been looking for, but what is the work that you've been avoiding? What is a constraint that you can make? Okay, realistically, I haven't been hitting 10K steps per day. I could easily get that done if I make myself have to hit it regardless of circumstances every single day. Maybe you've been wanting to read more, but you haven't been holding yourself accountable to 10 pages minimum per day. Maybe you want to make more money for your business. Well, are you doing outreach for clients every single day to generate leads? You can kind of get the idea, and hopefully this video is providing some gears turning for you so that you can kind of face the work that needs doing and be really honest with yourself as to whatever the version of work that you've been avoiding to create that sort of magic that you've been looking for. So comment below what you want to see in this series. Subscribe if you find it interesting. Check out my other content, podcasts, as well as vlogs, and I will see you tomorrow for the second meditations.
Okay.